Good morning. How are you guys? I just got home from a walk this morning. I went to the park. I went by myself. I didn't even take Nala with me this morning. It was just me and my podcast, and it was awesome. And now I have quite a bit to get done here this morning and also this afternoon. I have a lot of emails I need to get to. I have 3 conference calls today, 2 this morning and then 1 later this afternoon. I feel like it always works out that way. It's always like later in the week and also later in the month that they all come at once. So I have to just listen in on those today. And then we're going to a couple of showings tonight. My cousins have 4 houses they want to go look at tonight, so that's awesome. So I'm gonna go with Alex. I'm just gonna kind of tag along and see everything, and hopefully we'll be able to get an offer in for them tonight. That would be awesome. So that is kind of what's going on here. So I figured I would just do a what I eat in a day video. As you guys know, if you haven't been watching, then you don't know, but if you have been watching, you know that I've been doing intermittent fasting, and I feel so good doing that. For my body, it works. I feel like fasting may not work for everybody, and for some people, it might take a while to get to that point. For me, it makes so much sense. Like, I don't know, I've never been hungry when I eat breakfast. Like, I just had to force myself to eat because I thought the right thing to do for me was, you know, having 5 or 6 smaller meals a day. You had to eat breakfast. You had to get that metabolism going. The more I learn, the more I realize for me that doesn't work because of insulin, and, you know, spiking your sugar all the time is not good. And I'm not diabetic or anything, as you guys know, but I do have some hormonal imbalances, especially from some adrenal fatigue that I had a couple years ago from being on the show, and just not eating enough, simply not eating enough for a while. And I don't know, I feel like this has given me a lot of freedom with the intermittent fasting and the keto lifestyle. For me, I don't think about food all the time anymore, you know, and going from being a food addict for pretty much all of my life to kind of flipping over to disordered eating for a couple of years there while I was on the show, and especially afterwards. This has been so freeing for me, and it's something that I never knew that I needed, and I'm just so glad that I found this type of lifestyle now. I feel better than I felt in a very long time. I've always dabbled in low carb. Like, I always felt like I was doing the right thing with low carb, but I was eating 5 smaller meals with the low carb. I wasn't getting enough healthy fat, so I wasn't staying full, you know, and now the more I learn every day, the more I love it. And for me, it works. It might not work for you. You know, you might not feel like this is what's best for your mind and for your body and for your soul. And that's okay. You got to find what works for you. But for me, this is what works. If you're kind of looking into a ketogenic lifestyle, I highly, highly, highly recommend checking out Dr. Berg here on YouTube. He is amazing. He has so many wonderful, informative videos, and they're short and sweet and to the point. And I also really highly recommend checking out Healthful Pursuit here on YouTube. Her podcast is incredible. I'm like only halfway through it, and I just love it so far. Her name's Leanne Vogel, and she also has a book called The Keto Diet Book, which I actually don't have yet, but I've heard it's amazing. And Alex just told me last night that he bought it for me from Barnes & Noble, so it should be here in a couple of days. But I just highly recommend, no matter what you do for your own lifestyle when it comes to, I guess, eating styles or whatever, just do what you can do forever. Do what makes you feel the best. And if it's not the same as the person next to you, or it's not the same as what mainstream pushes, then that's great. Like, figure it out for yourself. Do your research, you know, try things out and see what works and what doesn't, and do something you can do forever. That's the way I look at it. I'm not telling you that my way is right or that somebody else's way is wrong, but if it doesn't work for you, then it's probably not right, you know? And I guess I just wish I would have realized that so long ago. But I will put all of the resources that I've mentioned in the description box, and I'm just probably only gonna have 2 meals today, maybe 3. We'll see how much I get at each meal, and if I'm hungry later on in the day, I'll have some more. But usually I eat, I fast for 16 to 18 hours, and then I eat between, you know, 6 and 8 hours. So it really just depends on the day. But that's just how I do it. I usually eat lunch and dinner, and then I don't eat from dinner until lunch the next day, and I usually feel fine. And if I need to add in some bulletproof coffee, I can do that in the morning, or just plain coffee, I can do that in the morning. There's a lot of different ways to do this, so just know that. But whenever I have my first meal, you guys will see. Today for lunch, I'm going to be making my keto sushi, which is so good. I use riced cauliflower as the rice, which is so good. I cook it up. I add some cream cheese to it, some apple cider vinegar. I am using this imitation crab meat, which does have quite a few carbs, but it's 15 carbs for 3 pieces, and I'm only gonna use 1 piece here. So I'm gonna cut it in half and then use it, and then I kind of fill it up with avocado, cucumber, stuff like that. I might even add like some other vegetables. We'll see what I have in there. But basically, if I just have one of these, it's 5 carbs, and I'm okay with that. And then I wrap it in the seaweed. So I'll show you guys how I do all of this, starting with how to make the rice. I did also want to say that you could definitely do like salmon with this, or real crab, or no meat at all. You could do just all vegetables if you want to do that. There are a lot of different modifications. I think the main thing is just using the cauliflower crumbles as the rice, because it helps it be, you know, more keto, low carb, whatever. But you can use anything in it. Like, you don't have to follow this to the T, especially with the crab that I'm using, just because it's, you know, it is higher in carbs. But if you use 1 piece, it's 5 carbs, that's okay. But salmon will be very, very, very low. And that might be a better option. I have made it with salmon before, and it's very good that way. I just didn't have any right now. The first thing I do is just pour in the cauliflower crumbles. You can use fresh, frozen. It really doesn't matter the brand I'm using. Obviously, my Green Giant ones, these are frozen though. I usually use the fresh ones, but I just didn't have those right now, so decided to do this. And then I'm also just gonna add a little bit, I would say probably about a tablespoon, but I'm just gonna kind of wing it here, of apple cider vinegar. You can use rice vinegar if you want, but for me, I just don't want those extra carbs in there. But I really like apple cider vinegar. I think it tastes just as good. So I'm just gonna like kind of toast these up. I would say probably about 5 minutes until they're nice and toasted up. And then I'm gonna add the cream cheese to kind of bind it all together. Okay, so I put about 2 tablespoons of cream cheese into this. You can use more or less, whatever works for you, but I kind of just mix the cauliflower rice into it to make it more of like a sticky rice, you know, like regular sushi rice. And it works really, really well every time I've done it. So if you don't want to do cream cheese, like if you want to keep it dairy free, you could try like a coconut cream or something like that. It might have a little bit sweeter flavor, which is okay. I just don't mind doing the cream cheese. I like the cream cheese, and it works well for us. So I've got my cucumber that's not really chopped that nicely, and that's okay. My avocado that definitely doesn't look good, but it tastes really good. And then the crab meat, and then the cauliflower rice, and then I'm going to put sriracha mayonnaise on top. Got my little bamboo wrapper. I got this on Amazon. I got the seaweed wraps on Amazon. Let's be real, I get everything on Amazon. So I'm just gonna roll this up, cut it up, and lunch will be served. Here's the finished product. There's actually more that I'm gonna eat, but it just looks really ugly. I'll show you, nasty. I just didn't cut it right, that was my fault. But this is what it looks like. I added some sriracha mayo to the top of it. You can add anything that you want on there. I just like my stuff a little bit spicy. I'm just gonna eat that like in a bowl or something, no big deal. But this is the finished product, and I know it'll be really good. This is like, I don't know, the 6th or 7th time I've made this, and it is so good. Also, there's plenty of rice left. Usually the cauliflower rice, when you do a bag and then the 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, it will make about 3 rolls. So I only used 1/3 of it, and I can make one for Alex when he gets home if he wants one, or just save this and make some more again tomorrow. The sushi was so good, you guys. You have to try it. I'll put links to all different types of like low carb sushi below. You can do it with meat, without meat. There's so many different ways to do it. And like I said, you can use coconut cream instead of cream cheese to kind of make it bind together. I'm sure there's other ways to do it too, but I'll put some links to keto low carb sushi below. Mine, I didn't really follow a recipe. I just kind of wing it every time, you know, but there are a lot of different ways, so those will be in the description box as well. I feel like there are going to be a lot of links in the description box, but they're all super helpful. Okay, dinner is going to be really easy tonight. I'm going to make this steak. It's just a strip steak. I'm probably going to marinate it in this coconut aminos and then maybe a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, however you say that. I just say W sauce. And then I think I'm gonna make some stuffed jalapenos with cream cheese and then wrap it in bacon and then have a salad on the side. So this will be my dinner. I'm just going to marinate this now for a couple of hours and then I will show you when I'm cooking it up. Okay, here it is. Don't ask me why I chose this bowl, but whatever. I use the 2 marinades and then I just use Himalayan pink salt and some garlic powder. And I'm gonna let this marinate for about 2 hours now. Here's a little before of my stuffed jalapenos. I actually put the bacon inside of the cream cheese because, I don't know, whenever I wrap something in bacon, I just feel like it's not cooked properly. Like I don't like that it's like, you know, slimy and not crunchy. So I cooked the bacon up first and made it crunchy, and then I put it inside of the cream cheese mixture, and all that's in the cream cheese mixture is that, and then the bacon, and then also some shredded just Colby Jack cheese, and I think it's gonna be really good. So I'm gonna throw these in the oven at 400 degrees for probably about 20 minutes and see how they're doing. I forgot to show you guys when I started cooking my steak, but basically I just got the pan really hot. I put some olive oil down and I let it kind of sear on one side. It's kind of searing on the other side now. And then I'm probably going to add a little bit of Kerrygold butter and just kind of like put it on the top with some garlic. And this will be my steak. I like my steaks medium. Of course, cook it how you like it. But it's looking really good so far. I think the main thing when you're cooking steak, you really got to let that pan get really hot. Super, super important. And then, you know, put some olive oil down or butter or anything down just to try to help sear it on the outside. Okay, you guys, here's the finished product. How good does that steak look, right? I think it looks so good. I hope it tastes as good as it looks. Here are these stuffed jalapenos. They look so amazing as well. And then I'm just gonna add some of my Greek olive dressing on this. I actually might put this in a bowl, to be honest with you. Just there's not enough room on the plate. And then I'm just gonna eat that. I'm not gonna add like a bunch of stuff to it. I don't feel like I really need much more. I might even add some of the steak into the salad, we'll see. But super excited for this. I'm about to go chow down.